to react to men wanting to die or being obsessed with dying in battle.
Let's go. Do it for your country. Do it for your honor.
Nobody's not playing. But you think that's what they about to talk about? People just
They probably gonna talk about the Crusades and how they was using like religion, like you fighting for God.
fighting for God.
You know, like during the Crusades, they like was using like religion as like a motivating factor to go fight in the war. So like if you dying, you was almost like dying for like God, you know. So even if you did die, it was like you good, you know.
I feel like that's more like the Viking shit when they had like the Valhalla, and in order to make it there, you gotta die in battle.
Oh, that's not loading up. Try to refresh.
The tale of the...
Oh, what the fuck? Nigga. Hey, I didn't hit play or something. Let me see.
It was buffering, but I guess you didn't hit play, but I don't know why it was saying it was buffering.
Yeah, that was weird. But I mean, I guess he'll got a little intro in.
The tale of the Bridge Berserker is one of those stories that feels more like a climax to a movie than an actual historical event. But according to Wikipedia,
I looked at other sources. Wikipedia is just easier to read.
it was just one of the many pivotal battles between England, led by King Harold II, against the invading Norwegian Vikings, led by King Harold III. There are two things about
Damn,
this
Harold
story
was
that
like
make
a
me want to
popular-ass
believe this
name
was
there.
someone's creative writing session back in 1060. I don't know when this happened. Number one, the fact they fought on a bridge called Stamford Bridge that led to a town also called Stamford Bridge. Number two, according
city
to
called
documents,
Stamford
the
Bridge?
Vikings had no idea that such a large English army was at their doorstep. Most of them were completely drunk and asleep in the middle of the day. So when an entire English army shows up, they overwhelmingly get the advantage in battle. But what halted the English army in their tracks was that on that narrow wooden bridge, one lone warrior, his name unrecorded in history, raised his axe
Nigga,
and stood
what?
defiant against 15,000 English warriors, intent on granting
don't
his
sound
king
real.
and his people the time they desperately needed. And the only other information we know about this guy is that he was labeled a berserker by his enemies for his barbaric way of fighting and the fact that he just wouldn't go down.
Damn, he was pussy. Bitchy.
He made Stamford Bridge a bloodbath, and he managed to take down 40 English soldiers all by himself before someone wised up and stabbed him with a spear from below the
Yeah, this
bridge.
is before they had guns and shit.
Oh, that's so lame. His story is a story
Till I
of a
put
man
below
who
the
reached the
bridge.
peak of masculinity,
Damn.
sacrificing himself in combat, and is the kind of
Below.
man
Low blow.
I
that nigga.
fantasize in my head as I'm on my way to work.
Pretend I'm driving, okay? I forgot to get actual footage of me driving when I was going to work, so yeah.
This scenario my adult brain whipped up comes from the part of my mind that the internet has deemed to coin as my masculine urge. Initially, it was a term people used to ironically make fun of hyper-masculine dumb boy things, like throwing a rock to break a sheet of ice, or throwing trash
Yeah.
into a bin from really far away, or to
Oh,
wear
yeah.
a long overcoat and wander through the streets during a cold winter
I
night.
don't know about that one. That-
Or to
Yeah,
dig a
that's-
really big hole. This funny little trend, however, gets kind
That's
of
cool.
interesting when men across the world agree on more serious masculine urges, to a pretty noticeable degree, like the urge to seclude yourself from society to focus on self-improvement, being able to perform a
Yeah.
task at the highest level due to grueling, meticulous training, and of course,
Yeah.
being able to pull off an extraordinary heroic feat that saves lives. Everywhere I look, if you go down the
Yeah,
rabbit hole,
yeah.
enough,
Nigga
there are
talking.
guys all agreeing
Nigga
that
spitting,
being
huh?
extremely capable at something that benefits the lives of others is a fantasy of theirs. And the apex of this idea is the act of self-sacrifice in combat. One of man's biggest fantasies.
He was spitting up into that. But he said being a nigga that provides and makes everybody else's life better.
Maybe like if you're in the war.
Now,
war
I am
time
not a
or something, I don't know.
neuroscientist,
Yeah.
but I am certain that this tickle at the back of my brain when I watch this kind of stuff, it's real, right?
I mean, if I watch
I'm not
that
just
happen,
concussed.
yeah,
It's
cinema.
a real thing that you guys experience too. I want to
Then that
preface
might be,
that
like,
this
interesting.
isn't all men. We are not a symbiotic hive mind that think and act the same. But a lot of us are pretty damn close. Search up any YouTube video that's titled something like POV, this is your final stand. You'll feel like you just walked into a room full of shonen protagonists.
What the niggas talking about?
It's kind of cringe, but I love it. And audio when it's time to lock in. This is your villain arc, or the all-reliable, the indomitable human spirit. It's clear from the comments of these videos that people listen to this stuff to get a good pump for a workout, or
Sounding
when
like
they need
anime
motivation to
sounds
get
to get
back on the
hype.
metaphoric horse of life. The reason why I bring this up in the context of
Nigga,
self-sacrifice is these one-liners are often taken from scenes where the character unlocks their hidden potential. They cast aside every other desire except for overcoming the obstacle in front of
The
them.
Attack on
And whether
Titan
they
shit.
die or not, they're throwing everything they humanly can at you. Cause just like every RPG,
niggas know
you
the
can still
culture.
hit a crit at 1 HP.
Oh, that's
This
some
then usually
anime.
follows with a superhuman
The
feat
shit
and
what they do
or
on
going out
hands.
in a blaze of glory. And a lot of guys resonate with this kind of stuff. Me included. I, along with these Reddit people, fantasize of a world where
Niggas
we
on Reddit,
hone in
of course.
solely on the enemy and for a moment
It's a Reddit poll.
become
Of course, the
mankind's
Reddit video
most
will get this type of
dangerous
results.
fighter. It's like that one Kanye West song,
Nigga.
you know? It's provocative. Gets the people going. This guy. Imagine being someone that powerful.
Damn, he be
Imagine the
getting loud,
satisfaction of being that unit that just doesn't go down. And even if you do die, you're known as the warrior that took down 200 people to kill or something. Such a
I mean, that's not
fantasy
the
would
worst
only
way
be
to go
seen in the
out.
movies.
No.
Except when it actually did happen in feudal Japan.
Nigga stand on business.
Saito Musashibo Benkei was a Japanese warrior monk who defended the bridge to his lord's castle to his dying breath. It was said that he sliced and diced over 300 soldiers with his Nikiba in order to buy time for his master to honorably commit
300
seppuku.
niggas
That's
versus
299 times someone has had to watch their guy get eviscerated, and the guy that killed him just stares at you like, next. By number 300 or so, the enemy wised up and was like, oh yeah, screw this, and started taking pot shots at him from a distance. And he still tanks them. After riddling him with so many arrows, one brave soldier actually gets close enough to look at him, only to realize that he was already dead.
Then
He
they go
was
some
already
white
gone
beard
multiple
shit.
arrows ago, and he died standing upright with
Oh,
his glaive
shit.
in his hand, propping himself
That
up.
nigga, that's some
Nigga
real life
hard.
shit.
That's
That's
literally
some,
Whitebeard.
that's
This
hard.
guy
Oh
was basically already
shit.
an anime character.
Hey, that nigga is hard. That's a hard way to go out. Is that not the coldest death you
Yeah.
done heard?
That nigga died on his feet, nigga. The blade, whatever, holding him.
That
up,
nigga
bruh.
did the white beard.
Talking about they thought he was still alive.
Damn. They didn't even know when that nigga died.
Somebody had to get the courage to go up to the nigga. Like, is he dead?
That's crazy.
Before all this, he's a weapons expert who kept his Masakari, his Kumade, his Tetsubo, and a bunch of other weapons on him at all times. He roamed Japan claiming
Yeah,
the
kinda
swords
like
of over 999 different samurai he had defeated, and he would have gotten to number 1000 if it wasn't for that damn Yoshitsune who beat him in combat. But it was that same Yoshitsune that became his best buddy for life and was the same guy he defended on that bridge. Now,
Oh,
I'm going to
this
refrain
nigga
from
got a
speaking about
crazy
this any longer
backstory.
because I can feel that masculine tingle in my head and it's happening again and I don't know how to stop it. That epic feeling of someone's life in your hands and
Damn,
the
that's
odds
probably
of
what it
survival
looked
being
like.
so
I'm not gonna lie,
close
my
to
nigga.
zero ironically fills you up with adrenaline to keep on going. At least, I think it does. The closest thing I ever got to Mortal
They
Kombat
must
was
have
when I was
crazy
clutching a victory
combos,
royale with the boys.
Stick combos.
Benkei, Whitebeard, All Might, Moomin Rider, Future Gohan.
Moomin
It
Rider
might
was
be a little
inspirational
cringe,
as fuck.
but
got his ass
I
beat.
identify with these
Nigga
people.
was standing up.
I
for what's right,
identify
bro.
with the virtue of
he
self-sacrifice
didn't do shit,
because
but
it
yeah.
shows that you are willing to risk your life for something that is bigger than
Fucking
just your
Vegeta with the M
sentiment
on his
of wanting
forehead.
to stay alive. Well,
Nigga didn't even
why
do
is it
shit.
self-sacrifice specifically that I like?
Blew himself
That
up
same
for what?
courageous virtue could definitely
you
be
know
seen
another
with
event that
moms
might
raising
be in
children
this?
or a child.
Bro, you know the scene on Endgame, bro?
Endgame.
Bro, right before the portal opened up, bro, and everybody was down, and that nigga Captain America was by himself with a broken shield,
Oh,
with the whole army coming to him. Like, that shit was hard, but that nigga was standing up still about to fight. Like,
I thought you was about to say Iron Man when he sacrificed himself.
no, that shit was hard too. But I'm
Okay.
talking about when that nigga had the whole army. He
But
was
that-
like,
that
fuck it, I guess I gotta fight. Like,
That was like the ultimate pull up. Like, hey, my niggas about to pull up
Yeah.
moment.
then the whole
What the-
shit pulled up. Hold on.
This is a random family, white family portrait.
Taking care of their parents in their old age.
Okay.
The short
yeah,
answer
I
is that would be a terrible action movie to watch. The long answer, we're gonna have to enter a pretty dark and malevolent place to get it. A place full of toxic COD lobbies and men hating on any woman that isn't built like an over-sexualized white 90s character. A place I never truly understood, but for the sake of the video, and I love you guys, we're gonna open this Pandora's box to make sense of a few things. I'm talking about the world of masculinity. Hey, y'all like the fit? Despite the cat ears, this is the most masculine thing I could come up with. My masculine outfit is in the wash until Tuesday. Trust me, okay? But the lumberjack
African?
outfit, I thought
Gotta be.
exuded masculinity.
like,
All right, you blue-haired betas. Oh, God.
I can't tell.
Eyes. Class is in session.
It might be a max.
Won't do that again. Despite my machismo
Nigerian.
look, we're not here to talk about sports or cars or women. We're here to talk about gender theory. Gender theory. Now look, I decided to get a degree in something that society actually values and pays decently well, so I am not exactly an expert in this whole debacle, but I am trying my best here. What you are witnessing now is a live autopsy of a guy analyzing his past self and why he had these kind of red pill adjacent ideas about masculinity. I'm just hoping we can all learn from it, okay? I'm not exactly prideful or happy. I used to think this way, but hey, we thank God for progress, okay? So if I slip up and say something out of pocket, that's why. Gender euphoria is simply defined as the satisfaction someone
like the
feels when
warning.
their gendered experience aligns with their gendered identity. Basically, it feels good to be a boy and do boy stuff because you're taught this is what boys like. We all basically know this, but there are certain traits as a man that feel good to perform as a man who follows these ideals of what a man is supposed to be. These are some of them now. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah.
League
Some
of
of these got
Legends.
updated in the last patch, so I don't know why they're still there.
right.
Traits like
Wait, let me
self-sufficiency.
go back.
Updated in the last patch, so I don't know.
The name for the white tank top.
Wife beater.
I got one on one.
Strength, gaslighting, book of guys, trip to Japan.
But that's such a pain. What does that mean?
I don't know.
He like read anime or manga.
I don't fucking know.
Know why they're still there. Traits like self-sufficiency, dominance, being powerful and muscular. These are the things that a guy who falls under this sense of what it means to be a man values, in a sense, because in their head that is what's necessary in order to perform as a man. And I want to put heavy emphasis on the term perform because it actually is a performance. There are definitely times as a man where I don't want to be all these things, but I feel like I gotta, hence performing. It's not a natural thing. In fact, the male body might compel us to cry or be vulnerable at certain times, but as a man, we don't cry, right? So we thug it out, you know, thug it out. And then we die at 60. You know, despite the discourse online that certain men say that men don't care about feelings and they're not important to us, I think there very much are. Look at these
no,
red
it's
pillars
close,
when
close.
you encroach on their identity as a man, what they think it means to be a man, and then you'll see yourself if feelings are definitely non-important for a man or never are expressed properly. Authenticity, defined by Charles
Yeah,
Taylor,
that's Andrew
is the
Tate.
creation and construction as well as discovery of oneself. To be authentic is to perform these traits you think aligns with you in order to become a man. So this is what they hammer in. This is the appeal for a lot of self-help advice for men online. There's a road you're supposed to follow, and if you follow it, you'll come out the other end a man. An authentic
You've been
man.
ranting
Traditional
for a minute. I'm
masculinity will
trying to
tell you
see
that you are not
some
just born a man,
examples.
but you need to become one as well. This is a big reason why a lot of male-dominated media usually have this stoic powerhouse of a man moving as a force of nature, pummeling enemies into submission, and then we as men all go, yeah, that guy has it all figured out. I need to be like him.
Like
So
that nigga
researching this
cold.
video, I discovered a pretty spooky place on Reddit. There was this post about asking these
Why men
veterans
love
from
war?
war why they
What the
like
fuck?
war so much. And despite how unpleasant and traumatic so many other soldiers say it is, why do they specifically almost
They
like
try to merge
obsess
some shit.
over
Is
it,
that
dream
not the
about
reason
it
why?
like it's the glory days? Here are some of
Would-
my
would
favorite
they
quotes
not be
and
just trying to
responses
murder
to
some
that
shit?
question. War
Like
stops
they got
time
guns and they trying to shoot
and
some shit.
intensifies the experience to the point of horrific ecstasy. War brings infinite foreign experiences and a lifetime's worth of unbelievable. There's just something about knowing you won't make it that helps you fight so much harder. And we all, and men in particular, still want and need a narrative.
Niggas
Alright, yeah.
trying to
Someone
live a
take Master
tragedy.
Chief's keyboard away. This guy is yapping too much. Guy, did you just hear how metal that sounded? We might discuss it with our friends and make these long intellectual video essays as to why we like said character. But I'll speak just for me at least. A lot of these characters that fall into this stereotypical man archetype, at the end of the day, it comes down to if I think they're cool or not,
It depends on how
and
they
if
feel
I
about it.
aspire to be a certain aspect
them
of them.
niggas
So
going into
far,
that shit
I
trying
don't
to
think I've
die.
said
Yeah, I don't
anything
know.
controversial or necessarily wrong. I've pointed out that traditional masculinity teaches you to take responsibility of your life and kind of pull up your socks in a way. I don't think anybody can really have fault in that. The bad part is, these people are not real. No human man is able of reaching these peak levels of traditional masculinity just like in the media. And
Thank you.
nor should you want
They
to.
comparing
We are
them
not
to,
these
like, fucking
men
anime
only have four
characters.
moves,
Niggas think they
animals that a
fucking
lot of people
Goku.
online say we are. That
They think
all
they
we
can go
need in
Super
life
Saiyan or
is
some shit.
muscles, money, and someone to boss around, and then we're just content with life. No. Sure,
They
some of this
Rampage
stuff might
Jackson.
make us feel good in a certain way, but take Kratos for example. Do you think Kratos likes ice cream? You think Kratos eats ice cream regularly? If you're trying to be like Kratos, then are you now going to go cold turkey on ice cream because he said to? He doesn't do it? You want to be like Kratos, right? So stop looking at this guy and saying, I want to be just like him. You like aspects of him. You can't be him. It's not possible. So then that begs the question, what happens when a man who identifies with this image of being a man can't fulfill these roles or these ideals and feels inauthentic? Well, for one, they become bitter to themselves and everyone around them. And if they can't live out this version of being a man, then they'll die being one.
Nigga, what?
I love The Walking Dead. It's one of those games that as years
What?
go
This
by,
nigga
it comes
getting
under a
deep
lot
with
of criticism for lacking continuity between seasons and game mechanics that did not age well. And as a video essayist who cares a lot about media literacy, I ignore all these critiques because I like this game a lot. The reason why I bring this game up is because I want to talk about a perfect case of a real traditional man's man not being able to perform his duties and turning
That
very
nigga look
sour.
like the
in
nigga
end.
from
Season 4 of The Walking
Incredible
Dead
Hulk.
is in the perspective of this new guy named Javi. Season 4
Let me see.
not being able.
Don't he look like the Incredible Hulk nigga?
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Mark
From MCU.
Mark Ruffalo nigga.
Not really. Not to me.
Like a younger, more in shape version.
Maybe.
Oh fuck
able
it.
to perform his duties and
No, I
turning
see what
very
you're saying.
sour in the
A little
end.
bit.
Season
When he
4
turns
of The
straight
Walking
on.
Dead is in the perspective of this new guy named Javi, a Mexican ex-baseball player in his 20s who, like everyone else, has had to learn to survive the zombie apocalypse day
Yeah,
by day. The
played that
prologue of the
game.
season shows
The
Javi
best
having an
character,
older brother
side
named
character
David,
in this
who
movie,
at the very
Clemens-
least had a
Clemens Island.
pretty good life set up for himself as opposed to his irresponsible little brother. David's got 2 great children, a staff sergeant role in the US States Army, and a loving wife who loves him very, very much. At least much more than his first wife. He has everything a guy like him thinks he needs to be a man. But the problem is, he is a real piece of work. He constantly abuses his wife, blows up on his little brother over the smallest of arguments, and you can get this feeling that even though he's retired from the front lines, he misses the whole life or death rush of warfare
the
and would
roid
trade that
rage,
over
what
his
the
boring
fuck?
dad life in a heartbeat.
My job sucks. Kate and I fight like cats and dogs. I belong back in the army. I had a purpose there.
Nigga
Some
wanna
stuff
be in
happens
the
when the
army.
zombies break out and David gets separated from his family, leaving Javi to be the main protector for years. And later in the season, when he finally does reconnect with them, David kind of just pushes Javi to the side, picks up his family, and disregards the fact Javi was ever there. Huh? David thinks he can just slot right back into being a father and a husband, but Kate, his wife, she is distraught that they found each other because David goes back to being this bossy, abusive husband. And also she realizes that she might have
Does,
married the wrong brother.
wedding
Gabe,
shit hold
while
up,
happy
you know,
to see his
zombie
dad,
shit?
can see the kind of person he turns into when he's not happy. And it
I'm
scares
playing
him.
wood.
Mariana, his daughter, is in video game heaven at this point. But if she was alive, I'm sure she would say the same thing, that although they were stuck on the road, clinging for survival,
Yeah, they be packing
she'd
niggas up
much
in
rather prefer
Walking
Javi
Dead.
being her carer over her gun-crazed, power-hungry dad. You can tell that this shift in allegiance to Javi messes with David's head. Like a lot.
Oh,
This now causes
shit.
him to indirectly
Broke that
punish
bitch
Javi even
arm.
more and keep an even tighter grip on Gabe and
big
Kate.
arm.
Like, it's really uncomfortable
Broke
seeing a
that bitch
man
arm.
trying to forcefully make his traditional values work rather than just having a conversation. It's like a baby jamming a circle into a triangle-shaped hole thinking something's going to change eventually. And on top of all that, it's kind of ironic he keeps telling Javi to stop running away from family responsibilities. But at the same time, he's also kind of like, yeah, I kind of want to go back to shooting stuff, so do you mind being the dad now? David annoys me.
Damn, he gave up the family.
Because I don't think he's a bad guy. He does genuinely care about Javi and the people under his care, but he keeps letting his principles and his ideals get in the way of genuine growth.
A soldier isn't a husband or
Nigga.
a father. A soldier is a soldier. Nothing else.
After seeing his brother, who he thought initially was useless, actually turn into more of a leader and a father figure to his family than he ever was, it is such an attack on his identity that he makes the most emotion-filled, petty decisions at every turn in the game. So it makes sense that he is
Packing
ready
shit
to do
up.
these hell-bent Call of Duty kill Makarov suicide missions, rather than wake up and smell the roses that maybe what he thinks is a good man is wrong. He thinks there's only one way to being a man and he's going to stick to it no matter the cost. I feel as though David is a representation of a broader topic on the plight of men in the modern age. He's like an extreme of what it looks like to allow the shackles
shit
of
is
masculinity and, to be honest, just being a bad person can do to you. For hundreds of years, men were seen as the only people who could provide for a family in ways like finance and security. And in current year, a lot of women are gapping men in terms of education, leading to women making more than men, men feeling lesser than, yada yada. Look, there's like 100 videos on the plight of men on YouTube, so go watch those. But essentially, the game mode to life has changed. And a lot of guys, young and old, are stuck trying to make sense of it with old software. And one of the few places a lot of us feel affirmed in our beliefs is through these hyper masculine fantasies. So it makes sense that we attach ourselves to characters in fiction where acting out their masculine urge to protect is still considered super important to that said society. Whether it's guys with a sword or a space gun or a space sword gun, it's all the same sentiment of, wow, I'd like to die in a blaze of glory and feel important. Again, This is cool. This is badass. This is really inspiring.
It's like
but just like
not like
everything
the
else,
number one thing
taking
a
this
nigga
stuff to
want
the
when they go to
extreme
war,
is
I
where it
feel like.
becomes harmful. On a smaller scale,
So, like, if you
fantasizing
wanna
about
die
this
in war,
version of
that's probably how you wanna
masculinity
go
can
out
make you
with, like,
unsatisfied
You
with a
wanna die
regular life
protecting somebody,
and
then,
daydream about a
dying
world where
in the
you're the
blaze of
hero.
glory.
Yeah.
But on a grander
I'm
scale,
trying to survive that bitch.
it can
too.
cause you to put faith in something that will ultimately destroy you.
The way, nigga, what?
Spoilers ahead for chapter 154 of Vinland Saga. They're not major spoilers, I
Oh, yeah,
swear.
Vinland
It's
Saga's
about
good as
a
shit.
random Viking dying, but this probably is one of the most important chapters
Viking
of the
manga.
entire story. For
Yeah.
context, Vinland Saga is a story about an ex-Viking named Thorfinn on a road of redemption after realizing the world of death and vengeance is no longer what he wants to put out into the world. The story delves into heavy
I'm not gonna lie. So that's when the story really gets ass. Like, it's a great story,
Yeah.
but that's when the nigga stops fighting, and it's more boring. Just like the overall show, to be honest with you. Great like message and shit. Great message.
the
and story.
philosophical themes
But,
on
like, season
whether
one, he
humans
was
can
killing
truly live in
shit, killing
peace,
shit,
what it
got
means
two
to have an
daggers,
enemy at all,
killing
and
shit, he was
is
killing,
violence
like,
always the first
generals,
answer when
sliding up on
defending yourself
everybody,
or loved
all
ones?
about killing-
The funny
killing
thing
shit.
is, it's gonna be pretty tough looking for peace in a world full of mankind's most famous people for the kill now, grape women later mentality. The chapter begins in the middle of a bloodbath of a battle. Heads are being lopped off like long swords, and axes are ripping out intestines. And the main focus of the chapter is this one Viking as he falls in battle after taking several arrows to the body. Laying on the floor, he thinks about how he did a good job in stalling the enemy before they could close their gates. Now his allies can flood the fortress and continue their siege. He's satisfied that he's
crazy
fought
shit.
till his last ounce of strength, and as his vision gets blurry, he eagerly awaits to be sent to Valhalla, a realm only for Vikings who died valiantly in deathly combat go to. But nothing happens. There are no heavens opening up to him, there are no Valkyries to carry him to the sky. It's dark and cold, and he can't feel anything. And for once in his life, he fears death, because he realizes the belief of salvation through combat he was taught was a complete lie. This persona or identity of being this
Damn, this shit got deep as fuck.
Fucked up. But then it was all a lie.
Damn.
machine of killing did not serve him in the slightest other than give him a purpose to kill time. There's nothing at the end of all this fighting but black. And as his thoughts slow down, we get a panel of him shedding a single tear as he is seen as just another dead body on the battlefront as the war continues. It's pretty depressing stuff. But what I'm getting at is, being so deep rooted in identity that has so many holes isn't a great way to live. Traditional masculinity can be more of a detriment rather than a benefit, and this glamorous final stand we love to fantasize about may need to be re-evaluated on whether the sentiment comes from an honest perspective in our life. This obsession of dying in battle and being this alpha chat could allude to a misguided funnel of energy, and maybe the issue isn't why do guys want to rush into guaranteed death in fighting, and maybe it's rather why do guys only see themselves valuable when they go give up their lives?
Whew. Hey, yeah, we are in the hot seat now, boys.
I feel
What?
like if I even got the most hyper-masculine redneck to look at this meme, and he had to choose just one and be honest on which side he'd prefer, I think
Right.
he'd say, every man has two fantasies, all hands are against left.
Let me see.
All honor against lads, we shall hold no matter the color is die with glory.
Shit is okay. You don't need to act strong anymore. Just hold on to me and let it all out. You're good enough. You're a good boy.
I don't like that good boy part, but I would pick number 2. Just I don't like that. I don't like that laugh.
What you want? A different animal?
You mean different animal? Oh, duh. Duh. I don't like that good boy shit. You're a good boy. What?
Shit.
But
You
I
good.
but I see the point. Though. I see what
Maybe you say you good boy. Like, you see?
like it's like you're a good boy. Like you're a good boy. Like good boy.
Like you're a pet.
Yeah.
Shit, I know this nigga fucking some shit. I know these niggas dying. I know what I'm doing. If
You want to see what Nia look like in 2025?
oh shit.
And she got the yits out.
Yeah, I think I prefer the anime girl. Now, this is not me saying the solution for man's troubles is a woman's compassion, but it's a matter of putting our value as a man in the wrong places. The system's rigged because it is almost impossible to derive a satisfactory amount of value from getting money because there is someone online way more rich than you. You can't solely get a satisfactory amount of value from working out because there is always someone who has a better physique than you. In Christianity, we call this idolatry. It might not mean that you are bowing down and worshiping this thing, but you solely getting your value from these masculine traits means that they are your god.
Yeah, I ain't know she had that in her.
We are in the hot seat now, boys.
I feel like if I even got the most hyper-masculine redneck to look at this meme, and he had to choose just one and be honest on which side he preferred, I think he'd say, every man has two fantasies. All odds are against lads. It's okay. You don't have to act strong anymore. Yeah, I think I prefer the anime girl. Now, this is not me saying the solution for man's troubles is a woman's compassion, but it's a matter of putting our value as a man in the wrong places. The system's rigged because it is almost impossible to derive a satisfactory amount of value from getting money because there is someone online way more rich than you. You can't solely get a satisfactory amount of value from working out because there is always someone who has a better physique than you. In Christianity, we call this idolatry. It might not mean that you are bowing down and worshiping this thing, but you solely getting your value from these masculine traits means that they are your god in a sense. And I don't know about you, but there are days where it feels good to get a productive day of working out and grinding out a side hustle. But there are also days when I don't hit my goals and I feel like garbage. And if I'm being real, all that other stuff people tell me to put my value in, they just don't hit the same. I don't get the same gender euphoria making videos or doing arts and crafts. I just don't. I might like watching the Barbie movie, but I don't feel manly doing it. Yes, I don't think we should fantasize about self-sacrifice as much as we do, but I have to admit that being in service to others is a pretty good feeling.
So what do we do about this?
If there is a wave of dudes dreaming of dying in battle in order to feel manly and valuable, then I'd hypothesize reevaluating what we see as valuable might give us some clarity on how to move forward. Maybe the idea that we must prove ourselves as men is inherently broken and not in our best interest? Maybe we can feel valuable and help people just like traditional values say, alive rather than dead? Huh? I don't have a definitive solution, but there was this article I read from this dude called Prester John titled On the Masculine Urge to Die in a Suicidal Charge. And in the article, he mentions this film called The Last Samurai as a reference to shed some light on the whole situation. The story is about this washed-up army officer named Nathan Algren, played by Tom Cruise. He's mentally plagued by his participation in the cruel genocide.
The Last Samurai, played by Tom Cruise. Bruh.
Side of the American Indian Wars, and now spends his days being part of a traveling circus where his main act is fetishizing that same war of Western expansion that gives him nightmares. That is until the Imperial Japanese government seek him out directly for a job. To teach their soldiers how to fight with modern military weapons in order to fight a rebel army of samurai. Algren agrees to the offer, but the training is cut short as the rebel samurai leader Katsumoto attacks their base. The samurai make short work of these inexperienced soldiers as they don't even know how to reload a gun, resulting in half the soldiers being dead and Katsumoto's men kidnapping Algren and forcing him to live among them in the Japanese countryside during the winter. Despite their grievances, Katsumoto orders the whole village to treat him as an esteemed guest rather than a prisoner of war. And through talking to Katsumoto, Algren finds out that he's not even that bad of a guy. He's honorable. And he has no issue giving up power to the government, but he hates the trajectory that Japan is heading towards. Think about why a samurai would hate a machine gun and you get the reason why he fights back so hard. Both Algren and Katsumoto share their life and death battles, and two philosophies bubble up to the surface. Algren despises this whole suicidal charge mentality a lot of soldiers he knew died from. He hated the fact that just because they were orders from a higher up, he had to continue to fight even though they were outnumbered. He was one of the few survivors of 200 men who fought against an Indian army of 2,000.
He looking like y'all niggas short.
And when Katsumoto hears the story of Algren being forced to fight this losing battle, he goes, huh, based. This whole Japanese dying with honor shtick really rubs Algren the wrong way initially. But at the very least, he really starts to warm up to the integrity and the discipline he sees in the traditional Japanese way of living. So when Katsumoto decides to go to battle with the Imperial Army again, Algren joins the battle, this time on the side of the rebels. And now you have this epic clash between old customs and new. The gun versus the blade. Honor versus progress. The samurai obviously...
Chaga, imagine you are on the other side. You see this nigga last get captured after training y'all how to use guns. Next time you see this nigga
on the other side.
He fighting with the other niggas.
You like, what the fuck? Like, I thought y'all didn't kill him?
He running. He the first nigga attacking you.
But I thought you was on our side, bro. What the hell?
Bro, you still alive. He
Bro,
been
you
looking
still
for
alive?
you. What the fuck?
Bro, they been looking for you like, bro, we were trying to find you to help us, and this nigga is on their team.
You like, what the fuck? Boy, ain't no way. Ain't
no way, bro.
Look at this nigga.
We have the moral high ground here, with more determination.
Look, he
tactics,
fighting
and
harder
skills
for the
than
other
enemy.
side.
So when
It's
they fight,
crazy.
all that doesn't even matter as it becomes a massacre.
More goddamn sticks.
Them niggas learn how to use them
The call
bitches.
of the battle is being nice. No matter how
Stick.
skilled you are with
Stick.
a sword and a horse, you are not beating a Gatling gun.
Oh my god.
Them
Imperial
boys
soldiers
learn
have
how
had
to,
a year to
use
train,
them
and now with the help of
guns.
modern weapons, they slaughter the samurai. That day, modern values won. The curtains finally closed on the age of the Bushido, with even Katsumoto preferring to die by his own blade rather than surviving in a world where his values are no longer the norm. Defeated once again, Algren
That's
is brought
fire.
to the young
This
Emperor
nigga got a
Meiji.
losing record.
And he's
Crazy
not really a
losing
bad
record.
guy either. He saw Japan being left behind in modern advancements and had to make the tough call to get rid of certain traditions in order to make sure Japan can
niggas
still
have
exist
been
years
mad.
from now. There could be other reasons as to why he was okay with being westernized, but at least through Katsumoto's efforts, the young emperor sees that he must not completely forget who they are as a people, even if they do decide to become modernized. The movie ends with Meiji saying how much he respected Katsumoto, the last samurai, and he asks Algren how Katsumoto died. And
so
Algren
he's
refuses
last.
to answer that question, and instead replies with, "I will tell you how he lived." Too many of us intertwine our traditional masculine values to our identity. The sentiment of how badass it would be to die in battle is cool on the surface, but kinda sad after you peel back the layers on what the desire it's rooted in. This is something I'm trying to understand myself, so I am in the same
I
boat
thought the
as
goal was to
anyone who
fight and
resonated with
live.
whatever I just said today. The
You
longing
have to
for
go
the
out and
good
last
old
thing,
days is only as popular
it's
as
like
it
the last
is
option.
because there is a lot of guys that feel powerless, valueless, and inauthentic as a man because the reality of becoming this unrealistic vessel of Chad energy can't be achieved. After all, if all of us knew that we actually have internal value and we don't have to prove ourselves with money, women, or how well you can swing a sword in order to feel valued, we might put the likes of these people out of business. There's no benefit into rushing into whatever suicidal charge you might be going through in your personal life. I would suggest understanding that we have these desires to be authentic, socially engineered or not, but the key is to not let it consume or constrict you. Once you stop thinking that you can prove your worth in every breath you take, once you realize that living for a cause can be 10 times more badass than dying for one, there's so much more interesting, big brain expanding interests and lifestyles that this human experience can bring. So reiterating the question, how do we as men scratch that itch of wanting to feel valued in a world where we don't need to run headfirst into no man's land for a cool movie scene in our heads?
It's hard
A
to a
purpose.
nigga like Moomin Rider to stand up
Purpose
to a nigga
that can
like
look
that.
at a future Gohan or a Katsumoto and say that it's
go on.
badass, but not an ideal to live by. Because at the end of the day, this world is even more messed up than most of the movies and stories we love. You can definitely scratch that itch of being a hero right now. Trust me, dying for a cause isn't going to be enough. Because what we need is those that are willing
puts
to live
after,
for
right?
one as well.
Put some money. You gotta reap the benefits. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay,
That's a good
Q&A
ass video. How many
time.
subscribers
What
you
made
got?
you decide on the name Mayorski? It's not really that crazy of a story. It's just the nickname I had growing up. I think my dad knew a Nigerian footballer named Mayorski Lashi, and then he just started calling me that. I don't know why. How do you structure your videos? Basically, I treat every single video like a ball of dirt, and I keep polishing that ball of dirt until it becomes some sort of a shiny ball of dirt. So it's just constant
Bullshit.
refining from the very, 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 very rough draft. What motivates
took
you to
2
keep
minutes,
on
though.
making videos? Honestly, I can't imagine how my life
Like
would
2
be
minutes
if I
left in the
didn't
channel.
have somewhere to express my hyperfixation for that month. So
all
even if this
Q&A.
goes nowhere, I'd still be probably making videos off the sole fact I need to continue being a regular human and I can't not talk about certain things for a long period of time. What are you reading right now? I just finished.
Yeah, the nigga got a lot of subscribers. That was a pretty good video
How
though.
many he got? 30K?
Yeah. It's a pretty good video. Nigga was going in depth. Got a little depressing at one point. But he brought it back up towards the end. He had that little beat. He dropped a beat.